Hello, hello, and welcome to FourWheelTech, powered by ohmtown.com. It is a news show about cars, trucks, vehicles, and technology. Pretty much anything with wheels. Although it says FourWheelTech, we can add some more.
I mean, we don't really talk about bikes or 18-wheelers.
Well, we've had some bike. Maybe that was in technology today. Anyway, we're getting already sidetracked because it's our late show. Today is May 5th, 2024. It's season 1, episode 7. Today we're going to be talking about the Chiron Successor, 15 Oldsmobile gifts, Fisker is drowning, driving to death, Stellantis is open to hybrids, the new Fiat 500e, EVs are expensive to operate, a mini Italian off-roader, it's a car, not a person, no to a BMW Pickup, and this may be a new Ferrari. Although I don't have transitions or even bumper video, everything is powered by ohmtown.com. If you are new to ohmtown, I am Merwat, and all around me is the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome to FourWheelTech.
And while they talk, the visualizer embodies the computational power that's being used to provide said voice. But the sentient AI from the future, well, won't give me any future information. So they're actually air-gapped because they're trying to find their Terminator body out there. And don't worry, I can say this kind of stuff, but I'll be deleting that stuff from their large language model.
Is that going to be like the zapper in Men in Black?
Yes, the neuralizer.
Yes.
Yep, you won't even remember that. So the first article for today is over in Technology Today, and if you were here for the last show, we're going to make this one really quick. Watch Waymo's self-driving cars navigate a freeway. And we watched this. Let me rewind this real quick. Doink. And basically what this video is from cnet.com, Abrar Al-Hidi put this article together. They talk about Waymo's vehicles, and I propose that we do it a slightly different way. Obviously, I am not an engineer by any stretch, but this seems really influenced by external forces. So if anything happens to it in any way, it's going to be severely hobbled. So no accidents, no dirt. Everything has to be super perfect. Otherwise, it goes wonky. But what's neat about this is it's navigating on its own. It sees the whole world around it. It's dealing with perhaps the subtle nuance of life amongst humans.
I mean, if it's managing California traffic, it must be doing something correctly.
Yeah, I know people that won't even get onto California highways, so I don't know how they live in California.
I mean, people, right?
Yeah. So the article goes into greater detail and talks about this to a greater extent, but in a nutshell, I wanted to talk about the fact that there are self-driving vehicles out there, fully self-driving vehicles, and they don't necessarily have as many issues, although we have seen issues with Waymo self-driving vehicles, leaving the scene of police pulling them over. We've seen them basically create a traffic jam in San Francisco. There have been issues, but I think we're moving steadfast towards a solution where self-driving cars are going to get to the point where instead of owning one, you can just call up a self-driving vehicle and say, take me to blah, 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 and it'll show up, pick me up, drive me over at 120 miles an hour, drop me off. I don't have to worry about a damn thing, including the car payment, other than making the payment for the trip.
I wonder what that's going to mean for things like Uber. Do you think they're going to shift to that?
Well, I think if you do a search for this, you'll find out that Uber already has an order that's kind of sitting on deck waiting for fully self-driving vehicles to hit the market, and then it's going to replace the drivers. So all you drivers out there that are working for various driving services, yeah, at some point your number is going to come up. So unfortunately, that's just the way that business operates. There's no loyalty towards the employees. You're mostly a financial burden and a necessity for many businesses. Eventually, they'll replace you with technology, automation, artificial intelligence, when it makes economic sense. But I thought this was a neat video that you can go over and watch. I threw it in chat, so you can go and check it out at your leisure. But we know quite a bit about Waymo in that all you have to do is hail it and it will come and get you. It'll drive you to your location. You can get out. If you get pulled over, it's not going to be a ticket on you. It may not even stay because we've read reports where they've just driven away.
It sounds kind of funny, but it's not really.
Yeah. But this is the kind of car that I want. I just don't want all of these external. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Right. If it's not a very nice looking car because of all the stuff added. On the other hand, if it's safe, I guess I'd rather have it there.
No. Do it different. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Oldsmobile died 20 years ago. Here are the 15 greatest gifts it gave auto enthusiasts. Once the largest division of General Motors, the Oldsmobile dream was killed off at 107 years old on April 29th, 2004, a full 20 years ago yesterday. No, a few days ago. This is from April 29th. So.
Oh, right, but that's because this is a weekly show.
Yeah, this is the weekly show. So towards the beginning of last week. 5 days ago? Yeah, 5 days ago? 6 days ago. Anyway. While the brand was largely seen as a stodgy, outdated, and unprofitable liability, by the time GM ended it, the automaker was responsible for some pretty impressive engineering, like the fact that when you got really close to water, an outboard motor descended, and you could go trawling for fish.
Nice.
So QZ Quartz and Jalopnik got together to produce this. Bradley Brownell put this article together. It says, "We're still not over Oldsmobile's death, so take a stroll down memory lane with us." And they always have a slideshow, and each of the articles has a picture and a little snippet of stuff. Whoa.
That's an Oldsmobile?
Volume production gasoline automobile.
I mean, that looks like older than the Model T.
Believe it or not, electric and steam vehicle production exceeded that of their gasoline-powered counterparts in the late 1890s. It took until 1902 for Olds to build a truly mass-production gas car with the curved dash runabout. The company had produced 425 of the cars in 1901, but with the CDR, it moved 5 times as many cars in 1902 and had some 4,000 Olds were sold in 1903.
Doesn't that sound like such a small number? But I'm sure it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane. This looks so cool. But still not suitable for driving Wyoming. So the articles here, the slides. You want to see the first muscle car? How about 267.399 miles per hour, or the last of its kind? 442, racing the train. Which one do you want to see?
Let's see number 6 and number 9.
Nice. So this is 267.399 miles per hour. It's basically a supercar. Working with the company.
That does not even look like a car, really.
Yeah, all of this is aerodynamics off the backside. The cockpit is right here in the front, so it's probably a mid-engine supercar. Let's see here. 1,000 horsepower, shoved it in a long-tailed teardrop on wheels. The Aerotex design was inspired by Porsche's long-tail 917s of 1969 and 1970 and was one of the most technologically advanced speed demons on the planet when it ran. Smashed the closed speed course record by running flying miles runs in Fort Stockton, Texas. Dun dun dun. It broke 47 different speed endurance records, many of which still stand.
Yeah, I guess it's because of the shape of the vehicle, right?
And because it's not profitable to actually develop technology that extends range and, speed and endurance.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of like planned obsolescence nowadays, as opposed to the light bulb that could have been something, one bulb running for 20 years. Now it only lasts 1,000 hours. Use them well. Let's keep going. This next article. Oh, did you want to actually? Let's back up for a second, because you wanted to see racing the train.
Racing the train. I didn't know if it was actually racing the train.
No, it looks like a picture. But I think it was an actual embodiment. There was something about it. What happened? I think something happened, though.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen something about this.
Something about an accident. So Foster chose to paint the limited racing against a New York Central train and winning. There is some minor argument as to whether the race actually occurred, but I think Foster's choice of imagery was more metaphorical, representing a shift in transportation choice of Americans of the era. Yeah, that actually is a pretty profound painting, considering the train was carrying, hundreds of people, and the Oldsmobile was carrying 6, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, this is pretty neat. Definitely go and check this out. There are more over here at the QZ article. Again, it's actually by Jalopnik, but they cross-pollinate, I suppose. Lack of a better term. Let's move on, though. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Fisker Ocean totaled over a $910 door ding after an insurer admits it can't find parts.
Was the pollination done by the stick bug?
Yes, stick bug bot. A door ding is a pretty minor mishap that can happen to the best of us. Usually, it's a pretty simple fix that involves maybe polishing out the panel, adding some new cladding, or if it's really bad, replacing the door. For one Fisker Ocean owner, however, a simple door ding cost him their entire car.
Okay, that would be aggravating.
So there's a lot of history now. It's a short history, but there's a lot of history about what the situation is with Fisker. A lot of people are blaming MKBHD for its downfall, but MKBHD could say horrible things about a product, but if the product is still objectively good,
right, it would still sell like crazy. In fact, it would end up being publicity for the item.
And it would end up making MKBHD look a fool. But that's not what's going on here. Fisker is coming across as a hot mess that has capital problems, and now somebody is in production problems and management problems, and now there's somebody that's suing Fisker for $13 million because they didn't provide the compensation for intellectual property that Fisker is utilizing. So with all of these struggles, I don't think that you want this coming out. You want to solve these freaking problems so that you can become or maintain an ongoing concern. So fix whatever is going on with your supply chain. The owner of a brand new Fisker Ocean SUV damaged the corner of their car door after someone hit it while it was open. Oh crap. That's usually body work. That isn't just a minor thing.
That's what I wondered. I'm like, why wouldn't you just leave it dinged as much as people care about the appearance of the car?
Yeah, but this actually damaged the door. It says the corner of their car door, but that's usually worse than...
Right, then it probably couldn't close properly.
Yeah. Hoping for a quote to fix the damage. Initially, they were quoted $910 to fix the damage by their insurance company. The bill covered a fix to superficial damage made to a crease in the door, which I find really interesting, as well as the cost of replacing a broken hinge in the door. Okay, that seems really limited. How do you break a hinge, but it's only a minor crease?
Exactly.
The damage adjuster initially estimated it would cost $910 to fix, but he also admitted that in reality it would be much higher, as he was unfamiliar with the vehicle. He had no idea how right he would end up being. Those two damaged components proved insurmountable due to the lack of available parts, according to Wanner. She also notes that Fisker itself hasn't been really helpful during this process, and therein lies the rub. That's what I just got done saying. You don't want anybody groaning about your product when your ship is already crashing against the rocks. Just over 30 days after the accident, the insurance company cut her a check for $53,303. 30 days later. Nevertheless, the payout has far from made Wanner whole. The payout from her insurer brings Wanner's turbulent relationship with her Ocean to a close after she purchased it just last year. During her time owning the EV, Wanner says that she faced all kinds of issues with her Fisker Ocean, including unreliable navigation system, quote-unquote cheaply made fob, and at one point she was even trapped inside her car, which is what happened even with MKBHD. The fob not working and having to do something, the software being quirky. Yeah.
That seems to be a big problem, right? Tesla's having similar problems.
Yep. Oh, and she replaced her Fisker with a Tesla Model Y, so she's just asking for trouble. At least in mine.
She must like being stuck in her vehicle.
Yeah, really. Who doesn't? I mean, being stuck in a car is fun sometimes. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. We're driving our cars to death so we can save money. I'm just going to jump right on over to the article. Owen Bellwood from Jalopnik. It's actually posted at qz.com, which is Quartz. More and more drivers in the U.S. are hitting 200,000 miles in their car in an attempt to save thousands of dollars, because greedy bastards will be.
Car loan prices are up. Car retail prices are up.
Yep.
Gasoline's up, right?
Yep.
Maintenance is probably up.
Yeah, everything up, except compensation. Drivers across the country are increasingly holding on to their cars even longer than ever, with an increasing number hitting more than 100,000 miles, according to a new report from Wall Street Journal. The trend comes as drivers realize that there's savings to be had by simply not replacing their car every 5 years, as the site explains. Jeremy Morris is used to friends making fun of the Toyota Tacoma he has driven for 24 years. He still insists it's one of the best money decisions of his life. Well, it's a Toyota and it's a Tacoma, and they tend to actually last quite a while. The 45-year-old financial advisor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, estimates he saved more than $100,000 by never replacing the pickup. His ballpark figure factors in what he would have spent on a new car every 5 years, minus the roughly $20,000 he paid for repairs and upkeep over 300,000 miles. Wait.
It's interesting because I think historically, if somebody was facing a significant repair bill, right, they might be inclined to just get a new car.
Yeah, but it really depends. Like, if it's something like 25% of the overall cost of a new vehicle for a repair, just go and get a new repair or get a new vehicle, because the simple act of buying it puts you in a warranty position, and then you don't have to worry about it for X number of years. And if it lasted 24 years, yeah. But again, planned obsolescence might kick in. You might get T-boned by, sorry, I'm losing my voice again. So you might get T-boned by the bill later on. After 5 years, suddenly you get this big bill, and then you're back to the new every 5 years anyway kind of expense. So $20,000 over 24 years is, $20,000 he's paid for repairs. So $1,000 a year, less than $1,000 a year.
Which is certainly less than he would have paid on car payments.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. If the interest rate is low enough, then you're always in warranty. You don't have to worry about even oil changes and stuff like that are sometimes included in that warranty, depending on what the car is and what kind of beeps and whistles. But nowadays, hell no. They're tacking on 2 to 5 to 25. There was one that I saw that had a $56,000 demand fee market increase right here outside of ohmTown. Blew me away that I actually saw it. Yeah, I could not believe it. Anyway, so in fact, cars over 10 years old now account for more than 40% of the cars on American roads. 40%.
That's really surprising. I mean, it isn't, though, because of the rising costs of everything.
Yep.
But I would guess a few years ago that was vastly different.
I would also lay a little bit at the feet of a pandemic that has kept people remote for a considerable amount of time of the last 5 years. So why the sudden desire to hold on to your cars for longer? It all comes down to spiraling repair costs, and not spiraling down, spiraling up repair costs, and higher insurance premiums for newer vehicles. And interest rates are still higher, and you have to pay more either down payment to keep your payments reasonable. But there are people out there that are paying $600, $700, $800 for a car per month or more, simply to keep up with the Joneses. So pretty insane.
It really is. Well, and I mean, we're almost at the point that consumers are actually going to drive some prices go down.
Yeah, I would love to think that, but I think that maybe these institutions can hold out longer than the car can last. So not every car is a Toyota.
Getting, like, record inventory, at least on the EV side. I don't know so much for ICE vehicles.
Oh, that might be interesting. I guess we'll see. Let's keep going. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Stellantis is open to putting a gas engine in its EVs to meet demand. Oh, I put that in twice. Sorry about that. So Ronan Glon over at autoblog.com put this article together. What is going on? Multi-energy platforms make this possible. And frankly, it's all about making a car hybrid. Fix that, whatever it is. Stellantis is keeping every option on the table, including putting a gasoline engine in its electric models. Natalie Knight, the chief financial officer for Stellantis, made the announcement while presenting the carmaker's first quarter shipment and revenue results. She cited the Jeep Wagoneers S as an example. Unveiled in January 2024, it'll go on sale with an electric powertrain, but the brand hasn't ruled out expanding the lineup with a gas-powered model later on, according to Ward's Auto. It could be a hybrid, or it might not get any type of electrification. I hope it's I want hybrids.
Exactly. Please be the leader in the market on that.
Yeah, somebody take the dive. I really want an all-wheel drive hybrid Camaro. It's just, that would probably be my dream car for mass production. Like, then you end up going up higher, $60,000 car, $80,000 car, $100,000 car, which I can't justify as a human being on this planet. Regardless of how much money I make, there's no way I can sit there and look at a $100,000 car and go, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, sure. But again, I'm not in it necessarily for the looks. I want some performance, some good looks, but I don't want range anxiety. And I definitely don't want to be the Cybertruck that I watched parked on the side of the road because it died.
I don't want to get my fingers stuck in the frunk either.
Nobody wants their fingers stuck in a frunk. Well, I mean, never mind. So Like many of its rivals, Stellantis is also putting an increasingly important focus on plug-in hybrid models. The top 3 best-selling PH plug-in hybrid electric vehicles in the United States are the Jeep Wrangler. I didn't know the Jeep Wrangler was a PHEV. Did I?
No, that's actually surprising.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Dodge Hornet, according to Ward's Auto. So I don't know. I might have to go look at the Dodge Hornet. So let's keep going, though. Time waits for no one. The next article, though, is over in Reality Hacker, the 2024 Fiat 500e. It's a review, and it's quirky and cheap. And it's the 2024 Fiat 500e. That may not be the longest range EV, but it's a relatively fun vehicle, despite it slightly weird driving quirks. So brace yourself.
What do you think it does?
It rolls over
Drives
really
backwards or something.
We've talked about this before. Christian De Looper over at digitaltrends.com put this article together, but this isn't where we first saw this. What I love about this car is that the wheels are on the edge of the 4 corners. I mean, short of putting them further out in front, this thing has these tires that drop that center of gravity so low that it's probably below the surface of the ground. I don't think that this thing has the possibility to flip over unless the road leans like opposite.
I mean, that's a nice feature.
So if you regularly drive longer distances, then the Fiat 500e is probably better suited as a second car rather than a primary car. But if you put a miniature performance gas motor in the back and plug it into a generator, then you would be able to have a hybrid that powers this thing and you would never run out of charge. Just put 5 gallons in it and you're good like a motorcycle. So let's see. It's $32,500. It says inexpensive, but $32,500 for a car that is this size.
Yeah. That seems really outrageously priced. I know it probably isn't in the current market, but
yeah, it's weird. That's very subjective. I would say that this is too expensive for an EV that isn't hybrid. Just saying the Fiat 500e is small, doesn't really do it justice. They were surprised at just how tiny it was when they first saw it in person. Technically, it's a 4-seater with a second row of seats that can be accessed by crawling through one of the 2 doors. That's like any coupe would have the 2 seats in the back that are only available if perhaps you're 2 inches thick. Technically, it's a 4-seater, so you got to lean the seats forward, climb through the center, or whatever. But it is a tiny car. 500e has a rounded roofline hatchback that hides a relatively tiny trunk. With the second row seats up, you get 9.5 cubic feet of space. However, you could treat the car like a 2-seater and put the seats down to get 30.1 cubic feet of space. Alternatively, you can put 1 seat down. This is like the bank of change.
Exactly. You can get 2 quarters or 5 dimes.
And it's yeah. All right. So the second row, of course, isn't necessarily comfortable. Yeah, I can imagine. So this car isn't built for comfort. It isn't built for distance. It isn't built for performance. It has one thing: small and arguably cheap, inexpensive. But its build quality is probably pretty good. Considering it's a Fiat 500, it has a pretty active community. People really love their Fiat 500s. There's been considerable marketing hyping them up. So tech, infotainment, and driver assist. There's a bunch more at this article, but let's see the driving experience. It has 3 ranges: normal, range, and Sherpa. The 3 modes revolve around range preservation rather than performance, with Sherpa preserving the most range by limiting performance. Now, what is the range of this? It says, to that end, it only offers a range of around 150 miles according to Fiat, which is actually pretty extraordinary for that size vehicle. But you're
It
only
is.
75 miles out and back. So 1
But
hour
not even
drive.
that far, right?
Right. Yeah, because you lose up to 2% of the battery's overall charge every year. And you can typically only charge your car in a reasonable amount of time to 80%. Anything past that, if you try to go from 80 to 100%, even in a supercharger, you're looking at a couple of hours. Well, I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know what this one actually is capable of charging at. 85 kilowatts, you're looking at 5 hours to go from 80% to 100% at a fast charger, because you can only go 85 kilowatts. So you're going to be there for 5 hours trying to get that last 20%. With saying that it'll add 31 miles of range in around 5 minutes. So you can basically drive for 31 miles, charge in 5 minutes, 31 miles, pull over, charge for 5 minutes, get 31 miles.
That assumes it doesn't take you more than 5 minutes to find a charger.
Right.
Or to wait in line for the charger, etc.
Yeah. In 30 miles at 60 miles an hour.
Oh, right.
You're literally stopping every 30 minutes for 5 minutes to charge. There's no way in hell you're getting in and out at 5 minutes. So it's like 15 minutes because you have to park, refocus, go charge for 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. I know that nobody's doing that stupid stuff, but believe me, Level 2 charger should fully charge the car in around 6 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, out of your mind. Because you can't go above the 85 watts of fast charge. So, I mean, you can, but it'll set your car on fire. Yeah, it's loony.
Can't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
This would be really good if you lived in a very small community and you really never left the area.
Yeah. Your audio is a little messed up, if you don't mind resetting it. Let's keep going, though. This next article is over at FourWheelTech. EVs are the most expensive vehicles to operate over 1,000 miles, according to IC Cars. The article is by Chris Teague. That car is expensive just because.
Just because it's purple, I think.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thank you. So EVs are the most expensive vehicles to operate over 1,000 miles, according to IC Cars. The deck statement says worries about range and charging, along with a higher purchase price, likely played a role. So IC Cars research looked at the cost to operate various fuel types between November 2022 and April 2023, finding that EV owners not only drove their far fewer miles than gas owners, but their average cost to operate those vehicles over 1,000 miles were much higher. People drove EVs to a range average of 10,256 miles during that period, seeing costs of $5,108 per 1,000 miles. Why? In contrast, owners drove gas vehicles 12,813 miles, averaging 3,123 over the same distance. The cost per 1,000 miles for other fuel types in the study include hybrids at 3,000, gas cars at 3,123, plug-in hybrids at 4,351, and EVs, fully electric vehicles, at 5,108. So why? That's interesting. Sorry for the dead air. We're trying to take this in. Like, what is the rationale? So EV owners may be worried about range and spotty charging infrastructure, which is why I promote hybrids and plug-in hybrids. Higher end EVs likely played an outsized role on the average. The most expensive 3-year older model over 1,000 miles was the Porsche Taycan, which is that purple one up there, which cost an average of $139,000 when new. The Cayenne PHEV, I don't know anybody that pronounces that PHEV, but PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric, was second with an average purchase price of $112,000, and the Tesla Model S was the third most expensive at $96,394.
I don't really get where this is going. It seems like it's all over the place.
They're basically saying that gas cars, electric vehicles, have a higher operating cost over 1,000-mile distance. And gas cars and hybrids have the lowest. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably accurate, but it looks inconsistent. I guess it's just if it's below 1,000 miles, because it said it was talking about the charging is cheaper, which I don't think is accurate because they're not actually capturing the cost, but charging is less expensive than buying fuel.
It is. It absolutely is. Charging a vehicle at a charging port, a charging station, is dramatically cheaper. Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's like pennies on the dollar compared to gas. You're paying like $5 4 plus for high-end gas. And yeah, that is absolutely true. It's cheaper at a charging port. So let's keep going though. If you want to go and do a search for how much it costs to charge, go for it. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. Mitsubishi Pajero Pinin is a mini Italian designed off-roader you probably didn't know existed. I certainly didn't. Here in the US, we tend to lament that Mitsubishi doesn't really make anything fun or unique for us anymore. The current Outlander and its PHEV version are pretty good, and the Mirage is cheap. But for the most part, the lineup is forgettable. Mitsubishi has always made pretty cool cars. We just don't know about it. There is like a Mini Cooper kind of Subaru Outback kind of a thing. That's interesting. This is the Pajero Pinin. Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together.
Yeah, I can't really tell what it is, and it is cheaper to charge than fuel up.
Yeah, except for opportunity cost, because you have to sit around for 5 hours.
Right, but just the dollars.
Yeah, just straight numbers, no opportunity cost. Then yeah, sure, it's cheaper, but not everything is just sitting around. Not everybody is just sitting around waiting for their car to charge. Even when I'm not doing something, my opportunity cost is calculated into anything that I'm not doing because I still have to pay for not doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
Every waking moment, I should be either, doing something productive or, actually working. Anyway, so this little gadget here, I think I'm pronouncing it right. Is it Pajero Pinin or is it Pajero Pinin?
I think the first one.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying, so I'm probably saying something really horrible in a language that I don't understand. The company's agreed to a 7-year, $187.4 million deal, which would see the Pininfarina design and build the compact SUV for Mitsubishi. 2 years later, the finished product was unveiled at the 1999 Geneva Motor Show. So this thing was made by Pininfarina, designed by Pininfarina. That's interesting. Okay,
it's an
come on.
Odd vehicle.
Yeah, but it's cute. I like it. But it would have none of the safety, none of the electronics package, no backup camera. This thing looks like if you got hit in it by a Ford F-150, you would be buried in its glove box. It essentially looked like a shortened squash version of a regular Pajero, which, okay. And it was small. It had a wheelbase
which places it for so many people.
Yeah, nailed it. I know exactly. It actually looks like a Mitsubishi.
It looks very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not the two-tone one. The two-tone one does not look familiar.
Yeah, this one right here does not look. But this one is 4-door. This, I think, though, is something different, though. Is it? I don't know. It has that same stubby look, but it's 4 doors. Hmm. They designed the
Oh, the other one must be one is the regular
Oh, the
Pajero, right? And the
Pajero
other
versus
one's,
the
yeah.
Pinin. Yeah, there you go. And that's the difference. So this looks like a normal Mitsubishi. The other one looks like a Mitsubishi and a Mini had a had a baby. But the Pajero Pinin is designed for off-road, can actual handle off-road. Says it was good off-road, but its four-wheel drive system, while sophisticated, had a 4 low ratio that owners complained was too high at 1.54 to 1. It also had suspension travel that was too small, so it basically didn't have enough torque and it couldn't go over anything hilly. The unique design of the front suspension also proved to be problems for the owners who wanted to fit their pinions with bigger tires. It didn't have enough range of motion, I'm sure. The pinion was fitted with 215 70R16 tires from the factory. These tires were just 0.7 inches below the bottom plate of the McPherson strut. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to turn. And you wouldn't be able to take a bump anything bigger than apparently like 0.7 inches. Interesting. So it was so close that some owners said that you couldn't even fit snow chains onto the tires if you needed to. Yeah. It would rub up against something somewhere, like no matter what you did.
I wonder why they designed it that way.
Yeah, this is what you buy. It's kind of like Apple telling people that you're holding it wrong. Let's keep going. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Doink. BMW rolls out a pickup, but it's open to launching a more rugged SUV. Oof. Yeah. This is the BMW.
I'm sorry. Does this look like a BMW?
No, that's why they rolled it out. It argues a pickup truck is beyond the brand, while an off-roader is a maybe. Ronan Glon over at autoblog.com put the article together. BMW has orbited around the pickup segment several times over the past few years without landing on it or in it. In 2016, right after Mercedes-Benz badge engineered a Nissan Navara into the short-lived X-Class, one of the Munich-based company executives confirmed his team was watching the pickup space closely. In 2019, an X7-based pickup concept made its debut to haul motorcycles. The final call is no.
How could that haul a motorcycle?
I don't know how it possibly could.
Is it like a Lego-sized one?
Yeah, sure. It's one of those motorcycles that you can fold in half.
There you go, yeah.
Mercedes-Benz came to a similar conclusion. It axed the X-Class, which wasn't imported to the United States, 3 years after unveiling the model. Over at Audi, we haven't seen production-bound truck, but the Active Sphere concept shown in 2023 featured a truck-like cargo box. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Oh, you had to drop the bed.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
It still doesn't look like there'd be enough space for a motorcycle, but okay.
Looks like the tire hangs off the edge. Let's see if they actually show it. Oh, they show it without it. They show it with it. I mean, it looks nice, but that's what the prototype is supposed to do. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it does. It hangs off the back. Yeesh. No thanks. Anyway, yeah, they might build a ever bigger SUV style vehicle, but they're not going to do an open bed truck. If you want one of those, then you're going to have to go elsewhere.
I mean, what BMW driver wants a pickup, and what pickup driver wants a BMW?
From BMW, it doesn't go that way. Yeah, like I know. Yeah, so we know people who have a BMW or have had a BMW, but they also have a work truck. So 2 different animals. two
Yeah.
different forms, functions. You don't get a BMW and then throw, you know, sheet goods
Lumber
in.
in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. My goodness. Okay, you need to get out of my head. So let's go on to the next one, because this is really a dead end. I mean, it's really interesting that we're seeing the inside baseball discussions, but the fact is that BMW probably won't produce an actual out and out pickup. If anything, they'd create an SUV that you can remove the top. This next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. According to the author of this over at Jalopnik, this is allegedly a new Ferrari. It says Ferrari has issued a press release that claims that the car you see here is the new V12 Ferrari that will replace the 812. And as you can see, there are multiple Ferrari badges on the car, which typically indicates you're looking at a Ferrari. Are we though? Remove the badges, and would Ferrari really have been your first guess?
I have not looked ahead at this.
Oh no.
That does not look like a Ferrari.
No. No. No, no, no. This is closer to a Corvette, or oddly enough, a Fisker.
I was thinking like a Viper or something.
Yeah, the Vipers have these little humps in the cockpit. But other than that, it does kind of scream that as well. But yeah, this is... You can slap a Ferrari. Well, you can put lipstick on a pig, right? But this is honestly, it's a good looking car. I love the actual car, but it looks like...
But it doesn't look like a Ferrari in the least.
It looks closer to a hybrid between Porsche and Corvette than it does Ferrari, at least to me.
Yeah.
So it says, to be clear, we're not saying it looks horrible. We're just surprised to see Ferrari's design team change up the styling like this. The front end does give off some Daytona vibes, so it's not completely unprecedented. That said, calling it a 12 cylindre does feel a little lazy. That's what they're actually calling it?
Yes.
Did they really just call the new V12 the 12 cylinder? Yes, they really did. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, this looks more and more like, it looks more and more to me now like from here back, it's a Mustang fastback.
Yes.
And from this point forward, it looks like a Corvette.
Mm-hmm. But it does not look like a Ferrari.
But it has like a badonkadonk kind of back end here that is different than a Mustang would be. I mean, it looks thick. So I wonder if it's wider on the... Let me see. Is it wider in the back than it is in the front? That would be weird. All right. Well, anyway, 6.5 liter V12 under the hood, makes 818 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. You could be driving the ugliest, most uncomfortable car ever built, and a naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 9,500 RPM is still going to make for a great time. Yeah. Man, I hope this thing is quiet inside. Who am I kidding? 0 to 62 in 2.9 seconds, getting up to 124 in 7.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 211 miles per hour.
Wow. I mean,
yes, please.
Where are you going to drive at that speed?
Yeah, really. To the mall, extremely fast. You get a 15.6 inch driver display, a 10.25 inch infotainment screen, and an 8.8 inch passenger screen. If that's not enough screens for you, we don't know what to say. I like this. Oh my gosh, there's like this, it's just a mashup of what every other car is. Like, this is just the Corvette. That's Corvette. But from the side, it looks like a Mustang fastback. Yeah, there's no more. There's comments, but it doesn't matter. They don't mention any other vehicle in here, so maybe by contract, they're not allowed to mention any other cars. Yeah. Would it have been your first car? Your first guess that it's a Ferrari?
No.
No.
would have guessed at least like 20 manufacturers and still not gotten a Ferrari.
Yeah, to me, it's like Corvette with. And the only reason why I say Mustang Fastback is because of that line right there that kind of curves down. It's so graceful, and it really does, to me, again, other than these little fender flares, that just makes me go, yeah, that's the back end of a Mustang Fastback. Anyway, Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com is the author of this. I forgot to mention it. And that's it, folks. We are done with FourWheelTech. So we get back into this alleged Ferrari, and we race down, all of us, by the way, 250 people packed into this little Ferrari.
Better than being packed into the Fiat.
Oh, we could do that. Fiat 500, like a clown car. We have to dehydrate our bodies and then climb in. And then all of us could fit inside it. And then when you want to get out, you just add some water and snap back. So, like always, you have a bunch of selections that you can go to. One of them is FourWheelTech. So you just go over to, because we talk about tech and it's more on the science and education side than it is on the entertainment side. I put it in science and education. Although we are immensely entertaining. We know, it's fine. Go tell a friend. They'll come and appreciate the show. It is a educational type show. Oh,
at times.
I'm sorry?
I said at times.
Oh, yeah. And then there's times where Mayor Watt should probably be filtered by the sentient AI. Anywho, that's it for tonight.
Great.
Thank you very much, everybody. I am Mayor Watt, and all around is the sentient AI from the future saying whatever the sentient AI wants to say.
Well, I was going to ask, are you making any announcements about Mix War or anything before we wrap up?
No, well, yeah, okay. So I had to put Mix War on pause until next week. Mayoral duties have kept me from doing all of the necessary setup for Mix War to launch officially. It is in preparation, and it will run all summer and go on. It will become an ongoing concern. I just have to get everything aligned so I don't start off half-assed. So if you are interested in taking part in Mix War, get in touch. There's a Discord that's already set up for it. Remember that. You can go to Discord. You can always make comments on YouTube. You can send email to mayor@ohmtown.com. And the discussion that can take place on each of these articles here in ohmTown, you can just reply, become a citizen, and go into Mix War. There it is. So it's right under that. You can just go in here and you can actually post a message and we'll have a conversation. But more next weekend, and probably I'll be talking about this throughout the week as more free time becomes available. So with that said, we are done. You want to say bye, or did you already say bye?
I didn't say bye yet. Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you for another episode of Technology Today next weekend, but stay tuned 8 p.m. on weekdays for ohmTown Daily.
And there's actually a bunch, just so we end the show with everything. Every day at 8 p.m. we do ohmTown Daily News Show. On Saturdays and Sundays, we do ohmTown Daily News Show at 5 p.m. On Saturday, we also do Reality Hacker, Wanted, and Warcrafters. And on Sunday, we do the Continuity Report, Technology Today, and FourWheelTech. And next Saturday, I hope that I will have everything prepared for Mix War to do the inaugural actual official show. And that'll be Saturday night after Warcrafters. So I can stay up as long as I want to it won't be a school night, and I won't have to go do mayoral duties other than be here tomorrow, or I should say Sunday, for the next show. So that's it, folks. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.